supposed to get off at 7, and I clock out at like 5 till. And he comes fucking literally follows me all the way out to the parking lot and asks me what I'm doing, and I'm like, I'm clocked out. I'm heading home. I get off at 7, and he's like, yeah, but it's not 7 though. And I was like, it's 5 till. And he was like, yeah, but it's not 7. And I'm like, dude, it's 5 minutes till 7. Like, are you serious? Like, come on, it's 5 minutes.
Just trying,
5 minutes.
just trying to start shit. Yeah, I found a little power trip, dude.
Yeah, it's. I was just like, I mean, it's 5 till, and he's like, yeah, but it's not 7, and I was like, oh my god, like, it has to be on the dot. Like,
Easy
what the
now,
fuck?
tough guy.
Like, this is McDonald's, dude. This ain't a fucking 5-star restaurant. Chill
Oh
out.
shit, relax there, bud.
Like, you want me to stay until the last fucking minute? You better be paying me a little bit more than what you're paying me right now.
Hate those people that take their jobs a little way too serious. And that's coming from me, but I'm a fucking
That's
cop, man. Relax.
yeah, that's what he does. He just takes it way too serious. Like, to tell you anything, he follows the fucking rules more than the GM herself does. So, it's irritating.
Sounds irritating.
And he told me, he's like, well, you didn't even get all the dishes done. And I'm like, well, first off, the dishes isn't even my job. I volunteered to do that because nobody else is doing it. And second, like, everything is clean. So my job, which is maintenance, that's actually done. Everything's clean and all that. And I walked back in because I had some onions that were expired, and I was bringing them home because they're only like a day expired. And he's like, well, if you're already clocked out, you can go home. I just looked at him. I was like, well, I am. I mean, I'm not clocking back in for 5 minutes. I'm not. It's not gonna happen. So yeah, I'm going home. I was like, have a good night. See you later. So yeah, he's pissed at me. He went back and told the GM later that I was being a smartass to him. What's funny is she didn't even care. So because she doesn't like him either. All right. So you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, bro. I'll follow you.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So 2018 is pretty much over at this point. So best time to do a top 5 movies of 2018. I'm here with Big Joe. I'm just going to call you Big Joe if that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
We are here and we're going to do this. Basically, how this is going to work, I'm going to give my top five. He's going to give his top five, and then he'll have 5 honorable mentions at the end. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So, I'm going to go ahead and start off with A Private War. Have you seen this one?
A Private War, I have not. I have.
It's really good. It's sort of a journalist who goes, kind of goes overseas, and it's during a time where journalism is all under attack and stuff like that. It's kind of hard to explain, but it was really good. And my second one here is Deadpool 2. I'm
Oh,
assuming
that's
you've
what's
seen
in.
this one.
Oh, of course I have. Yes.
Yeah, my opinion, it wasn't necessarily as good as the first one, but it was still really, really good. I mean, it was good. So, uh, really, really nice. And of course, Ryan Reynolds does the character so well. You know, you expect it to be funny as soon as you go into it.
Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. Like I've already come to that conclusion
Yeah,
where no one else could play Deadpool
he's
besides.
Deadpool in
Yeah,
disguise.
yeah. Now here it
He's
is.
Deadpool playing as an actor. That's
Yeah. All right.
so at number 3 for me is Ready Player One, which I already know you saw this one. This was one of
Mm-hmm.
my definitely had to be on my top 5 list.
Oh yeah.
What I liked about Ready Player One, for the most part, more than anything else, really, apart from it having all of my favorite things in one, was also that for me, I felt like it was the first video game centric kind of movie that we've had in a long time that didn't attempt to stereotype people who play video games. Like, there were
Okay.
so many movies, I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about, but there's been so many movies where that have been kind of centered around video games where they have, like, tried to stereotype people that play games, mainly because they were made by people that didn't really understand video games. And I think Ready Player One for me did not do any of that, which was really good. I liked a lot of it, but I also liked how like literally it was like all of my favorite things in one. like, Back to the Future, fucking
Mm.
King Kong. They even have that little bit where they go to like the hotel in The Shining,
Oh, yep.
which I thought was awesome. Like the attention to detail and everything, like it looked exactly like it did in The Shining. So
Hmm.
I thought that was really cool. Now, number four, I have Infinity War, which I don't even know where to begin on Infinity War because it was awesome. The ending was a complete shock to me, though. I was not expecting that. One interesting thing, though, that I kind of feel with Infinity War is I don't really feel like they're dead. I feel like they're in a sort of alternate dimension or something, kind of like Stranger Things or something. That's what
Okay.
I
Yeah.
feel like because I don't feel like Marvel would just kill off half of their universe. I just don't see it happening. But to be fair though, it is Marvel, and Marvel has done way crazier shit before. So
Yeah.
who knows? And then finally for me, I have Alpha, which is
Mm.
have you seen it?
Yeah, I saw it. So I want the dog or the wolf.
Yeah,
I think it
yeah.
is. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it
Oh,
kind of it kind of centers around a sort of man dog relationship type
mm-hmm.
thing,
Oh yeah.
and I thought it was really good. I thought it was beautifully shot, by the way. A lot of the scenes and stuff in the movie and where it was shot and all that. I'm not sure where it was shot, but I mean it was beautiful. I really liked a lot of the scenery and the environments and stuff. So let's get to your top five.
All right. I'm gonna go from five to one, from my least favorite to my number one favorite. Number five, and this is a big this was a big big question mark because I know that some of the deep fans didn't so much love it because it's a different kind of movie, but Star Wars, a Han Solo movie, that one to me was my number five, and the reason why is because it gave a lot of homage to like the original story. Now,
Right.
as the story itself, I could see why people didn't like it, but I mean, I was okay with it. I really did love all of the homage it paid to the original character, how Han and Chewie met each other, and how
Kind of like
Chewie
an
be
origin story
exactly
between the two.
exactly how Chewie became the co-pilot, how we actually got to see the castle run, like all that stuff to me was amazing. So that
Yeah,
one
yeah.
that would be my number five for
And
sure.
see, I've seen it too, actually, and I thought that was one of the things I liked about it. Actually,
Hmm.
I liked how it kind of further explained, how Chewie and Han met each other, and it also went into the more of the story between, Han and I forget the one guy's name, but it
Oh,
was
Lando Calrissian.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that was awesome.
and so I loved how it explained a lot more about that
And
because
I
the
actually love
original
how,
films it never really delved
yeah, at
into it
all.
too much.
And I love how it explained another key thing that a lot of people didn't pay attention to, but I did was I loved how the Millennium Falcon can go everywhere, right? It goes everywhere, and
Right.
you always wondered where the hell the navigational thing came from, and then you find out in this one that it actually came from the robot that was attached to Lando Calrissian. So then
Yeah.
you find out, like, no wonder this guy's able to travel the entire galaxy on this damn ship because now you know why. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
that's
Right. I mean,
yeah,
he basically
that
has a one of a kind navigational system.
exactly,
So
exactly. So that's my number five. My number four, while in agreement with you, would be Infinity Wars, Avengers: Infinity Wars, and my reason behind it is because the complete shock factor of that ending.
yeah,
We have
exactly.
a culmination of 10 years of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it's always the good guy wins. Always, we've never had a movie where the bad guy wins.
And we
Ultimately,
never got to see what actually would happen if they won,
exactly.
and this time you
So,
did.
and
So
I'll never forget leaving that theater thinking to myself that was a horrible ending, and that was stupid and blah blah. But then as I let it sink in, I'm like, no, that is actually freaking genius. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that is the smartest thing that Marvel could have done is shown us what a defeat truly looks like. You know what I mean? Like how it is to actually lose. It's not always you know butterflies and rainbows.
yeah.
Like you're gonna have losses. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
and that's what I thought was really cool about the ending. Because, see, I heard so many people, too, that bitched and said that it was a terrible ending. And I was
mhm.
like, no, I thought it was great. I
Yeah,
mean, it had a lot more human and believable factor to it. Because there's so many movies where the hero always wins, and I'm like, yeah, but in reality, that doesn't always happen though.
Exactly.
So when we had that ending, I was like, it was a nice change actually. I mean, you got to see what what these heroes actually feel like when they lose for once.
Oh yeah. No, and
So
it was a great. Looking at it now, if not the best, one of the best Marvel endings I've ever seen. So we'll see what happens moving forward. My number three. You see, my number three, two, and one were really hard to pick. I had the hardest time picking these three. So, but let's see. My number three would have to be A Star Is Born with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga.
now, see, I
Uh,
haven't seen that one yet.
yeah, oh my God, that movie is the first movie that I saw that left me depressed afterwards. And I didn't know that there was other versions of it. This is like the third or fourth version of this kind of movie, and they all follow the same like the same pattern, like the main story, where the man's a famous singer, he finds a girl at a bar, makes her a famous singer, and there's a tragic ending. I didn't know any of this until afterwards, but besides the story being so great, and besides being in shock that Lady Gaga has that singing ability, which is mind blowing, the ending was traumatic all in itself. But the score, the music in the movie is just it's on a whole nother level, man. And
So
it's
is it a sort of documentary
no,
or?
no, it's a drama. It's a drama movie. It's oh man, I don't know how to explain it. It's just it's a
I would
drama
just have to
for sure.
watch it.
It's a
So
musical drama, I guess you could say. Yeah, no, it's an awesome movie. I I tend to say that I cry a lot in movies, but I didn't just cry in this movie. I wept like a infant. I swear to God, I was just I left out of there with my eyes red. I'm like, what the hell? It was one of those I left with a very heavy heart, and like the next 2 or 3 days afterwards, like I was like in depression, man. I swear I had to force myself out of
wow.
bed. It was that kind of. I never had a movie do
So
that to me.
very emotional story.
Oh, extremely, extremely. I've never had a movie do that to me before. That's why it's on my top three. My top two, my top two, and my top one. I bet it. I actually had my top two at my top one. I just switched it like a day ago. Um, but my top two would be Bohemian Rhapsody.
I haven't seen that one either.
If you're a fan of Queen, as I am, you have a great appreciation for this kind of movie. Freddie Mercury is, I believe, to be one of the best voices of this generation. Um, and I like the fact that they didn't, mind you, he is Queen, right? Like he's the epitome. You think of the band Queen, you think of Freddie Mercury, right? But
Right.
if you appreciate the band Queen, like I appreciate the band Queen, it's the band. It's not one dude. And I like how this movie paid tribute to the band and not solely on Freddie Mercury. Mind you, most of it is about Freddie Mercury, right? About his troubles with the band and stuff like that. But it focuses on a major picture, and it's everybody as a team or as
Kind
a
of pays
band.
tribute in a way.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. And this is what this movie is. It's a massive tribute to the band. And the last half hour of the movie, it's basically a shot for shot performance of when they performed at Live Aid. I don't know if you're aware of that performance. Um,
I
but
am actually.
yeah, and my God, I was in tears the entire time. Watching it, mind you, I saw it in IMAX too, so I was just blown away
So
by
that
how
enhanced
amazing it
the
was.
experience.
Oh yeah, and I felt very appreciative of the fact that they did their homework. And mind you, I've seen Live Aid millions of times. And I can tell you that the dude that played Freddie Mercury did his homework and played it perfectly. Even from when he looked at the camera and gave a kiss, he portrayed that. From when the way he would walk with the mic in his hand, he did it perfectly.
Right.
Like everything, shot for shot. And you can go to YouTube right now and look up Live Aid movie and Live Aid reel and say it side by side, and it'll blow your mind how much he did it exactly according to the real thing. Um, so yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody, it's amazing. It paid awesome tribute to Queen and awesome tribute to Freddie Mercury. And my number one movie of 2018, hands down, now that I think about it, has to go to Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Ready, and I can see the bias being that we are gamers and whatnot, but it's not. I think it transcends that to more of
It
like a
does.
cultural. It's like a it's about our whole youth. everything that we were born and raised with. You know, everything from like the mid '80s all the
It
way
is.
till the 2000s. I mean,
Mhm.
everything's in there.
And I
You
think
know,
that's
so
another reason why I like it so much too. Is it's not so much just video game centric, because it does center around a fictional kind of video game, but it
hmm
also transcends beyond just video games, like you said. I mean, it also goes to
what's
all
the
this stuff
movies,
that
music,
we grew up with.
yeah,
Music,
toys,
movies,
everything.
books.
Hmm
Everything. I mean, you could spend you could spend days going back and watching this movie over and over and over, and you'll still not see every little
Oh
thing
yeah,
that
no, there's
they
no
added
way.
into it.
Yeah, there's no
I
way.
mean,
It's so much.
even at the, especially at the ending, at the final battle at the end, there's so many different characters that appear, and I mean, and it only shows all of them from the front for like a couple seconds before it switches to the next shot.
Hmm
And I mean, there's just so many different things in the movie. And see, when I went into it, I never read the book. I never read the book.
Same
And
as
so
you.
when I went
Same as
into
me.
it, I had no idea what to expect. And I was just blown away completely. And of course, I saw it in IMAX as well, so that also enhanced the experience a lot. So I
Yeah.
have to certainly
Actually,
give it where it belongs.
that's the one movie that I actually saw more than once. I saw it about three times. I saw it twice in IMAX and then one regular. Um, but it's one of those movies where I had the opportunity to watch it from the comfort of my home, you know, before it came out,
Right,
and I was like, you don't do that to that kind of movie. You have to appreciate it and watch it. Well, you have to watch it on the big screen. You know what I mean?
right.
It was, and it was one of those. As soon as you got out, you knew that movie was going to be an instant classic. Like
Yeah.
you just knew, like, and that's because I saw it when it was really towards the beginning or middle of the year, and I knew, like, yeah, this is going to be my number one movie. There's no way
And I think
I won't see a better movie.
it's been a while since I've seen a movie where I've actually left the theater and I just had this feeling of satisfaction that I just spent my money to see this movie. It's
Hmm
been a while since I've had that real sense of satisfaction, after spending my money to see a movie, and I had that feeling with this movie. I came out satisfied with what I spent my money on. I was completely happy with the movie. So, and of course, it was directed by Steven Spielberg, who is a
Yeah,
phenomenal director. So,
even better. Yeah. Yeah, so those would be my top five. As far as my honorable mentions, I did have a top 10, so these are going to be my 10 to 6. My honorable mentions, my first one, my number 10 would be Welcome to Marwen. I thought that movie was a very genius movie,
that
the way
I've
they
been
filmed.
wanting to see.
I
I
actually
really
just saw it.
have.
I just saw
So,
it about 2 days ago. And I didn't have it on my list at all. And I'm like, I have to throw it in there. Just the way that it went back and forth. Now, I heard that it's based off of a book, and the book is very much different. And it vice versa. There's sometimes where I do agree with the movie should be more like the book, and then sometimes it's a good thing that it's not like the book. Ready Player One's a perfect example of that. Um, but basing it just off of the movie, I thought it was great. I freaking loved it. I loved the back and forth between the dolls and the real story and how it correlated with each other. I thought it was just phenomenal. Um, my next honorable mention is a movie that I'm not sure a lot of people are aware of. It came out towards the very beginning of the year. It's called 12 Strong, about the war horses that went to war right after the 9/11 attack. Um, with what's his name? The dude that plays Thor. It was amazing. That movie to me was mind blowing.
oh,
I
Hemsworth, I think Liam
yes,
Hemsworth, I think
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth. There you go.
I love war movies for one, but this movie, it paid tribute, it paid homage, and it reminded me of 13 Hours of Benghazi, from the Secret Wars of Benghazi. It reminded me of that kind of movie, a kind of movie that's based on a true story and it pays tribute to these soldiers that went out there and got shit done for America, and I thought that was pretty awesome. So
Right.
I had to give props to that movie. My next one, and I know a lot of people are giving it a lot of beef lately, but Bird Box. Bird Box completely surprised the shit out of me when I saw it. I did not.
I haven't actually seen that one yet.
I didn't know what it was about. Honestly, I had seen no trailers on it. I was bored at home. I was like, you know what? Let me. Everyone's been talking about this. Let me check it out. From the very beginning to the very end, I was like, holy crap! How the hell is
But
Netflix able to release these kind of movies on here and lose out
see,
on, you know? It's
That's an
amazing.
interesting. That's an interesting thing too. Actually, I've noticed that a lot of Netflix films, they if you read the description on them, I don't know who writes the descriptions for these movies for Netflix, but they don't really do a good job because a lot of the descriptions for these Netflix movies don't do them justice. They really don't. If you read the description, a lot of like Netflix exclusive films, the description makes it sound like shit. So,
Probably, yeah. I don't
and
know.
there's a lot of Netflix movies too that you watch the trailers for a lot of Netflix movies and they look like shit, but the actual movies themselves are really good. And I've noticed that to be a common trend with a
Yeah,
lot of Netflix movies.
I could
So
see it doing that. Yeah. So Bird Box, really enjoyed it. Kind of like The Quiet Place. I could see this. I could see the similarities, but like I said, I preferred Bird Box over Quiet Place. I love Quiet Place too. It was actually one of my other movies that I was in the mix of picking, but I prefer Bird Box. Um, my next one would be, let me find out here. Da, da, da. Oh, this movie was very surprising. Very surprising, and this year wasn't a good year for horror movies. Um, at least for me. But this movie
right.
wasn't so much of a horror movie than it was like a slasher film. And I would have to give it to Hellfest. I very, very much enjoyed that movie.
That
And
was the
I,
one I think I actually remember tagging you in something on Facebook with that because I've seen it
yeah.
and I've been wanting to check it out. I just haven't wanted to see
You
it.
see, and the thing is that I go to those kind of things. I like going to like amusement parks that do like a whole Halloween haunted house feel. So
Right.
watching a movie about it to me was awesome, and they did a pretty good job at it. Had a cool little dark twist there at the end, and I don't know, man. That movie was very surprising to me, and it actually probably, if not the only one of the only good scary movies that I saw this whole year.
Right.
Um, and my last one would be Black Panther. I really, really Black Panther. I went into it thinking I wasn't gonna like it because of the all the support it was. I was getting the wrong kind of support that I would like for that kind of movie to get. I was getting the wrong attention from the wrong social, justice warrior groups, and I was
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
I was already thinking like, oh my god, they're gonna ruin it, blah blah blah. But no, when I saw it, I was like, dude, this movie is actually awesome. It's not one of the best damn Marvel movies that I've seen in a long time. And, I very much enjoyed it. It's one of those movies where I try to watch it at least once every other month or so. Um,
Right, and
it's
see,
it's a it's a fun movie.
I was actually conflicted between Infinity War and Black Panther on my own list with those two.
Yeah,
I
they're
was
both
wanting
really
to
good movies.
get Black Panther on there, but I was like, well, which one did I really like better? And I ended up with Infinity War. But
Yeah, yeah. No, I preferred Infinity War over Black Panthers for sure. But it was still a really good movie. It was a very surprisingly good movie to me. So yeah, those would be my honorable mentions for sure, man. It was a good year for movies. It was a really good year. Hopefully 2019 is better, but it was a good year. Good time to be alive to watch these awesome movies.
right, right. Well, I guess that is it. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If so, be sure to give it a like, and I will see you guys on the next one. Until then, take care. Thanks for watching. All right. So yeah, I mean, yeah.
I feel like 2019 might be better